what was what prompted the decision to focus on his gut? What was this?
When the behavior got to the extreme of him getting so aggressive, and we finally got a recommendation for a doctor who has retired. She started doing blood work to see that he had so much parasites and bacteria in his gut that was tearing up his gut lining.
Right, the pathogenic bacteria.
Mm-hmm. And so she started doing RXs to get rid of it. And it would work for a couple of days, but then when we were through with the dosage that he was allowed, things would start getting worse again.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor said, well, have you considered doing a certain restrictive diet? And at that time, we were doing the gluten-free, casein-free, all that diet. And I looked at the one that she was wanting me to do, and it did not make sense. And I started looking into more, and I found another one that was more into healing the gut lining. And it just, the mommy gut inside of me said, this is it. And the doctor said, this is it. This is your chance to save him.
Can you describe that diet a little bit? What did that diet include? Or
this
disinclude? What did it exclude? And what
this one was mostly a liquid diet from the very beginning on soups.
Started as a liquid diet. That was the first stage.
Started as a liquid diet.
And then you add to that.
Yeah, add to that. So you would go a couple of weeks with a liquid diet of soup, not bone broth. Now, bone broth is misunderstood for what we understand. Bone broth has a lot of minerals in it, and if you have inflammation in the gut, like our son did, he had a lot of inflammation. The bone broth the minerals will get in there and make it more inflamed. So this is a short stock cooking soup. Okay. It's a short cooked soup, not a long process where you're pulling the minerals in. And we started doing that, and I started seeing results. He just started to understand us, to just started coming alive. And then a part of that process started adding fermented foods.
So we
did the soup.
We did the soup, but with the prescripticis, with the probiotics you purchased.
Well, I had to stop that.
No, but I'm saying initially when we started, we were doing the soup with the purchased prescripticis.
Oh, yes.
Which is a soil-based probiotic.
A supplement. Yes, we started doing that, adding that. Yes.
Yeah, that was the first stage. Was just the chicken stock, the broth, and we did the
and a probiotic too.
And that was interesting because we needed to give him at least 6 a day of those.
That's right.
It had to be 6 because as I watched this, it was almost like a battle between the good probiotics and the bad stuff.
The pathogenic.
And one side would be bigger, one side. And if we gave them 1 or 2, the bad was still there. To actually get on top of it, we had to really give them quite a few and make that benefit. And, we saw results, of course, from the diet, and we saw results from the probiotics. But again, it had to be a significant amount. We didn't actually, it was a long time before we switched over to sauerkraut as a primary probiotic.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, it was supposed to be sooner, but we didn't really understand.
It was supposed to be sooner, but
I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. And also I have other children, so it was very overwhelming.
Yeah.
You're exhausted, you're tired, you have a child that's not sleeping. And so I was just taking it in baby steps. And the first thing I knew was just to start with a liquid diet. And we just started seeing results. And then we started adding the supplements that he was talking about.
There's a few other.
And then we started adding, making our own sour cream. Fermentation, we started adding that, adding our own yogurt. And then I finally, a lot of this stuff is not something we're used to. Buying chicken feet to make a soup.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a normal American way of cooking. So, I was having to learn to adjust to all those things. And so sauerkraut was something very foreign to me, and I didn't understand it. But then it started to gradually make sense. And then we tried to make our own sauerkraut, but I was an overwhelmed mother who could not keep up with everything else in the world.
I still can't get it to taste like yours.
And seriously, and then we
I
started
haven't
learning.
figured it out.
I'm going to be very, I mean, and then we started learning what we were finding in the store did not still have the right, that it needed to stay cold. It wasn't having the right stuff.
Effect.
And
Well, it also, you can almost taste the difference.
difference.
You
Yeah,
really
absolutely
can.
can.
And it, like, yours tastes powerful, and the other ones just take like, it's something you put on sausage.
Yeah, it's a little bit mushy. It's a little bit bitter.
It's
Yeah,
mushy,
it doesn't have
but
the
it
same-
doesn't have that zest or zing in it even.
Mhm. Well, and one of the things I think you're referring to is that because it's a bacterially rich living food, you have a bacterial reaction in your mouth.
Yes.
Mhm.
So that there's,
Yes.
it's not just
Mm.
the flavors, you can't quite describe
Never
them,
thought
but
about
it's
that.
more of an intense experience just chewing it up, just digesting it.
is.
Your saliva glands, they leak as soon as
It really
the
does.
fermented foods hit it, your mouth is alive.
It
And so like
is.
this is something that like the dead sauerkraut, even though they may put a ton of flavor in there with, all sorts of spices and all these things,
It
they
doesn't.
still don't have the living
Mm.
experience of
That's a very good
fermented
way.
foods.
You're right. I mean, and so then we found you and I started adding that into it. And the thing is about our son, it got so bad. The gut got so inflamed that his gut completely stopped working. He was not having any more BMs anymore. His
What was
body
it?
was
It
just,
it would go from
just-
constipation and like diarrhea, but he wouldn't digest anything.
Yeah.
it was
Um,
just going straight through. But then it got to the point nothing was coming out.
Yeah, well, we
And then-
struggled with that, and then you're giving them magnesium,
And then-
enemas, or something to get it to come out.
Yeah, something to stimulate the bowels
Right,
to
right,
function in any way.
right.
So when you first launched into the sauerkraut and kind of a more developed gut,
Mhm.
I mean, everything starts in stages. You
Yes.
crawl before you walk. But like once you were kind of full bore into the gut health diet,
Yeah.
what was the first things that you noticed? What were some of the things that the way his
Eye
system
contact.
eye contact. Okay.
I-
Aggression.
Well, the aggression went down.
Aggression went down. That
The
was
aggression went down.